Hi, everyone. Welcome to our webcast. Hope you're having a great day today. I'm Michelle from Tenzig. I handle the marketing here in our United States office. So glad you guys could come out and join us today. I just want to do a quick introduction before I dive into the title of the event and what we're going to learn. I'm pretty excited about it. We have Jason Hudson with us today, and hopefully you can all see him. Wave hi, Jason. He is
Hi.
yes. Good morning. Well, actually, good afternoon to you, right? Because you're in the United Kingdom. Actually, you're in Wales.
Yeah, North Wales, yeah.
Fantastic.
Right on the coast.
Good to see you. And then we have Christiaan Brinkhoff. Let me get this right. Principal Program Manager and Community Lead with Windows 365 Microsoft. We are so excited that you could join us today, and it's a pleasure to have you here. So say hey to everybody. And
yeah. Thanks, Michelle, and great to be here, and really looking forward to present the roadmap with you guys, as well as the partnership that we have with Tenzig. So
wonderful. Thanks for joining us. And you're out in sunny California today, correct?
No, I'm not. I'm in rainy Seattle. So
okay, there you go. Okay, well, my mistake, and we'll bring you some sunshine by the end of the webcast, that's for sure. Anyway, the name of our event, everybody, without further ado, is Windows 365 Cloud PC managed by Tenzig, that's us, and Microsoft Endpoint Manager, MEM, that's Microsoft. And you've met these two great guys. So they're going to actually very soon here create the full Windows 365 Cloud PC experiencing, delivering it with none other than Tenzig Thin Client, and you're going to learn how to seamlessly manage them with the Microsoft Endpoint Manager, as mentioned before. Real quick, before I get to a couple housekeeping items, and then we'll turn it over to Jason. I just wanted to show, it's the salesperson in me, I just wanted to show our the product that's actually being demoed. This is our 6010Q Windows Thin Client, and you'll find information for this in the marketing area, in the handout area. There should be 3 handouts for you. A spec sheet on this thin client, it's one of our best sellers, as well as our overall product brochure, as well as some information on some of our software as well. Just want to mention real quick, and then I'll quit talking. We have poll questions throughout the event, so feel free to participate. We really appreciate that. It helps us gauge the audience and see where your heads are at, so to speak. We do offer a free demo for our products. You can go to tenzig.com, have a 30-day free, no obligation demo with us as well. This particular webcast is definitely going to be recorded. We're recording it now. I'll make sure personally, actually I'll manage that myself, that you'll get the recording. It'll also be up on the Tenzig YouTube channel, as well as our video gallery on tenzig.com. So no worries there. I'll make sure I'll follow up with everybody. I will also personally make sure I issue out the person that won the $200 Amazon gift card. We'll be doing the drawing after the event, so you'll get that notification from me as well, from Michelle here in the United States Tenzig office. Please ask questions throughout the event. It's kind of a wonderful education. We have a lot of content to get through. We have 2 great presenters, 3 great videos, but not to worry, if we don't have time for Q&A or only get to 1 and 2 of them, we'll get back to you in detail with direct follow-up. So ask questions and we'll do the best we can, but certainly know we'll get back to you eventually. So I think I covered everything, and without further ado, I'm going to turn everything over to Jason for starters. Jason, you just let me know throughout the event when you want the poll questions.
Sure,
so,
thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Michelle. Can you see that okay?
Yep, we can see
it. Yes, I can. Yes,
super,
perfect.
super. Okay, hi everybody. After this brief introduction from me, I'll hand over to Christiaan to give you an overview of Cloud PC and to talk about the roadmap for the product. Now, I'm sure that endpoint management is a topic high on the list of most IT infrastructure teams and will be going forward. And I'm certain this webcast will give you an insight into managing your Tenzig endpoints and Windows Cloud PC using Microsoft Endpoint Manager. This demonstration will give you an introduction to Endpoint Manager and how you can use it to enroll your Tenzig Windows 10 endpoints, and I'll be showing you how to manage them with a configuration profile to create a single secure kiosk for your end users, amongst other things. I'll also show you how to set up and subscribe to a Windows 365 Cloud PC and how to assign a specific user to the virtual machine. I'll show you how to set up Teams optimization inside the Cloud PC and then demonstrate 2 quick calls that show the redirection of audio and video once optimization is enabled. Just so, yes, like we said before, just for some housekeeping notes. We'll have a Q&A session at the end where both myself and Christian will take your questions if we have time, as Michelle mentioned there. And we also mentioned that the actual presentation is being recorded as well. I'm Jason Hudson from Tenzig Technology, and I have over 30 years experience in the IT industry. I joined the company back in March 2021 after having a 10-year close working relationship with Tenzig as a retail infrastructure architect at Iceland Foods in the UK. I'm a technical solutions architect, and my role is focused on creation and improvement of Tenzig technical content, such as videos, blogs, webcasts, and tech support guides. For the rest of my introduction, I'm just going to hide my webcam, okay? A quick background on Tenzig for those not aware. We're solely focused as a thin and zero client vendor, meaning we understand all there is to know around graphics and audio remoting, from on-premise setups to more recent cloud-based deployments, ramping up recently thanks to Azure Virtual Desktop in the AAD. We're headquartered in Phoenix, Arizona, with our EMEA office in the UK. We have a long-standing partnership with Microsoft, having offered mutual customers both on Linux and Windows-based endpoints for RDS deployments, and more recently based on Azure Virtual Desktop. Tenzig's approach is that we make our endpoints fit your environment and not the other way around. Tenzig is built on excellent customer service, and that's why customers buy from Tenzig time and time again, as you'll see from our testimonials. Like I said in my previous slide, I had a 10-year working relationship with Tenzig as one of their customers, running both their thin and zero client devices in a fast-paced retail environment in over 800 sites across the UK. And I can tell you that their dedication to the customer is absolutely fantastic. And that's one of the main reasons that I joined the company last year. Before I hand over to Christian, just a few slides about the Tenzig hardware and software stack. Our current portfolio contains devices that fall into 3 categories: Task Worker, Knowledge Worker, and Power Worker. The 4600Q and 7700Q land in the Task Worker category, typically supporting Office applications and light media and Teams call use. The 6000Q handles everything that the Task Worker can do and more, and typically suits heavier multimedia use and full Teams audio and video experience. And last but not least is the 6100 that comes under the Power Worker banner, with its ability to run everything the previous categories offered, with the option to support 4x4K displays running at 60 Hz. Looking at the diagram, you'll notice that all the Tenzig devices mentioned provide multi-monitor support, as indicated by the numbers in the white box next to the model number. The Tenzig devices mentioned in the previous slide all support Windows 10 IoT, and as they run the latest remote desktop native clients, are perfectly matched to interface with your Cloud PC and other AVD desktops. They also come with a vast array of applications developed by Tenzig to give you maximum control of your out-of-box experience. We have the Quick Start wizard that enables you to set up your device how you like it from first boot, allowing you to create connection shortcuts on the desktop into your desired cloud platform. We have the Tenzig user utility, which allows you to securely manage your local desktops by either restricting or permitting Windows 10 features, such as removing the power button from the lock screen or limiting access to certain keyboard shortcuts. And the UWF wizard gives you the ability to set the device to run in a secure kiosk mode, harnessing the power of Microsoft Shell Launcher 2 to run only a single application at startup and nothing more. And finally, the Tenzig Zero clients are our most popular product with customers and deliver a powerful, secure and easy to manage endpoint device for connection to virtualized desktops. NOS is Tenzig's own customized Linux-based OS for VMware, Citrix, and now for AVD and Windows 365 inside the NOS MEM device. So before we start the demonstration, I'll hand you back over to Christiaan to talk about Cloud PC and the product roadmap.
Thanks. Let me share my screen real quick, and then we can get started. Okay, double check. Everything is visible, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Awesome. So first of all, again, thank you all for joining, for your interest in Windows 365 as well as the Tenzig endpoint. And we are very happy to see that a secure endpoint via Tenzig works completely with Windows 365 as it should for a secure environment working in the cloud with a cloud PC software as a service solution. So I'm happy to be here and explain you everything about it, like the benefits of it, as well as the roadmap, some specifics around like licensing, like what are the licenses that you currently can purchase. And yeah, after that, I will hand it back over to Jason, and he will walk you through the technical steps to configure it. So either you're a business or an IT consultant, you will see everything you need to know in order to use it. So let's get started. You already received introductions. So one thing I would like to share with you before I really jump into the content is this quote by Satya Nadella. He shared this quote during Microsoft Inspire in July last year. And with this quote, he really describes kind of the vision as well as what Windows 365 is compared to other technologies in markets such as Azure Virtual Desktop or Citrix or VMware on premises or any other VDI technology out there. So he said, with Windows 365, we are creating a new category, the cloud PC. Just like applications were brought to the cloud with SaaS, we are now bringing the operating system to the cloud with Windows 365. So what does that mean? It means that the cloud PC will be as simple as a software as a service solution. I always make the analogy and the comparison with Exchange Online and Exchange on premises. So 10, 15 years ago, IT admins or Exchange administrators were still maintaining an on-premises like mailbox server and replicated that across different data centers across the globe or different geos. And all that complexity is now gone because you can just go to Office 365 and just use it as a SaaS solution. And that's the same mission of our product. And we align on that principle already. And we have constantly like improved features coming up to align. And the next quote that I have will describe sort of the mission, the next steps in that vision moving forward. So last Tuesday, there was a Windows commercial event. You might have seen that. It was on 5 o'clock in Europe and at 8 a.m. in the Pacific time. And he said another quote, which is, we're removing limits on how and where you work with Windows 11 and Windows 365. Together, they're bringing the power of Azure Compute and Windows computers. And that really means that Windows 11, and your physical PC and your cloud PC will merge and consolidate more and more in the future, meaning that you will be able to connect from within Windows to Windows 365 or have features in Windows directly baked in that can show statuses or things back and forward, communication between your local PC and your cloud PC. We need to offer that as a SaaS solution and to offer a solution that is as simple as using a physical PC and the features that are built into Windows. And we do that with two main principles that are different from VDI, traditional VDI, as well as cloud VDI for some technologies. Windows 365 is a complete SaaS solution, as I just described. And other things to remember is that it's a personal experience in the cloud, meaning that you have a Windows 10 or Windows 11 cloud PC with a persistent experience, meaning that the hard disk is your ownership as a user. So if you install something, if you have those rights or you change something, everything is persistent if you log off and back on. So we don't use multi-session, so you have the same rich experience as you have on a physical Windows 10 or Windows 11 machine. And as I said earlier, it's simple and powerful as well, meaning that the capabilities you need in order to set it up is very simple and straightforward. We leverage the Microsoft Endpoint Manager console for that. And I will explain it later on with some improvements, and Jason will jump into those technical bits and pieces as well, how to do so yourself. So what you see here is two sort of goals we have always, which are sort of resonating with all the PMs here in the team, and we incorporate that in the design phase of features, as well as the thinking process of our features. And the first one is loved by users, meaning that the end user experience is key. It needs to be identical to the Windows 365 service, as well as simple and baked into Windows. So every user that connects to Windows 365 will have a seamless, easy-going experience that is aligning with the Windows 365 branding principles moving forward. And you will see on the left side the new web portal experience, and soon we will have a Windows app as well that you can, for example, implement on the Tenzig Thin Client or Edge endpoints as well. Trusted by IT means the console that you use for a physical PC and a cloud PC are the same, meaning that you can configure a cloud PC, provision a cloud PC, all from the same Microsoft Endpoint Manager Admin Center console, where you do the compliancy, policy configuration, conditional access, defender, everything, you name it as well for a physical PC. You can do the same thing for a cloud PC. So all easy going, as well as in the same portal with the same set of knowledge. So for example, the modern desktop administrator certificate will be the certificate that you need as well to become Windows 365 certified. So we are working on the final specifics on those questions, but that's an example of having that same set of knowledge in place for doing physical and cloud PC management, and as well mobile device management all in one place. So we do that with two products. So you see that on the screen here. So we do it with Windows 365 Business and Windows 365 Enterprise. Windows 365 Business is really for small, medium businesses, so to say. So it's an easy thing to remember from a licensing perspective, is that we target from 1 to 300 users for the Windows 365 Business product, and from 300 plus, so from 300 up to 10,000 of or even hundreds of thousands of cloud PC licenses in one organization. And with Windows 365 Business, we really focus on a next level of simplicity, because we don't require Microsoft Endpoint Manager for the business product, and we baked in automation to auto self-service that environment and do auto updates and things like that to make it even more simpler for a smaller business to do maintenance of a cloud PC environment, because we know that in a small, medium business environment, you most likely don't have a 5 to 10 IT department kind of person value environment with a lot of knowledge. Therefore, we make sure that the business product is even more simpler than the enterprise product to make automation possible to do the provisioning just while you assign a license, and then you're good to go. Everything from the business product is cloud agnostic, so all built into the cloud. So what does that mean? You don't need an on-premises environment. Everything works with Azure AD, native Azure AD join, so you have everything working from Azure AD. No need for Active Directory, and you can manage every user now from a new IT admin management experience. So you can provision or create a cloud PC and create a user, as well as define which operating system and which rights needs to be set for that cloud PC environment. All from one single experience, which you can find at windows365.microsoft.com. So that's the business product. So 1 to 300 users. So one user, you're just a freelancer, you can use it as well. So very easy, and no requirements for having an on-premises environment. And everything is fixed price, meaning that you pay from $20 or more per user per month. And then you have 24/7 availability of that cloud PC. Windows 365 Enterprise is more focused for the enterprise environments. So as I said, 300 plus, so 10,000 of cloud PCs. To manage them, we leverage the Microsoft Endpoint Manager Admin Center console. And that's really to merge that, what I said, the physical and as well the cloud PC world more and more together to eventually maybe make the same experience for the end user, how to connect and do everything the same as for both the physical PC and the cloud PC. So one thing to keep in mind is that Windows 10 and Windows 11 is supported, as I said earlier, but you can as well choose between Azure AD join and hybrid Azure AD join. So you can go full cloud, we can host everything for you, like the virtual machines and everything. We do the testing and the automation of the maintenance process and such in a Microsoft managed environment. But you can still have, or you have still the option to do hybrid as well, to connect to on-premises. And as well with Azure AD Join, you can also connect to on-premises. The differences with hybrid is that you work on a Kerberos level. So Active Directory could still be possible to use. So if you have applications that still require Active Directory, for example, you can use hybrid Azure AD as well. But if you are ready to go full Azure AD and you're still required to connect to on-premises, we support that too with a site-to-site or express route. And you can as well go full cloud, but as well your network in the cloud, so you don't need an on-premises network connection for the Azure AD Join product. So great to have that currently in public preview, and we will go GA with Azure AD Join in May, so next month already. So more enterprise-grade features, management of groups, so assign and provisioning policy with multiple different images, even custom images are supported. Language packs inside a provisioning policy, all very easy and straightforward, and you can pick regions. So almost every Azure region is supported. So if you configure a provisioning policy for enterprise, you can chain that up to an Azure AD group and make that provisioning policy sort of a department, location, language, and then you have different provisioning policies per Azure AD group. And the only thing that you then need to do is assign a user or add a user inside that group. And that Cloud PC starts to provision just in like 15 minutes or so. So it's so simple to just create a Cloud PC to remotely work from like any device that we support: macOS, Android, iOS, iPhones, Linux as well. We support every endpoint because we want to decouple Windows from the physical endpoint. So all very important information. And as I said earlier, because we leverage the Microsoft Endpoint Manager Admin Center portal, you get monitoring inside for free. So Endpoint Analytics is our monitoring solution, proactive and reactive, and that's baked inside the license. So no need for extra investments on monitoring or application delivery or profile management and such. It's all baked into that license. So let's share a little bit about the licenses that we have. So I already shared that we support every device, every platform, and we support Windows 10 and Windows 11. And we support it from 3 different licenses with different versions of RAM as well as operating system disk size, so storage space basically. So we start with 2 vCPU, 4 gig of RAM. We have 8 gig of RAM. We have one with 4 vCPU, 16 gig of RAM, and 8 vCPU and 32 gig of RAM. So all kinds of options, and we are currently working on GPU SKUs, so that will ship soon as well. So that will mean that you have a GPU attached to the Cloud PC for AutoCAD, Revit, or other very heavy workload kind of applications, and that creates a little bit more flexibility for adding different scenarios too. So stay tuned on our roadmap page to learn more, and you can find that roadmap page on ak.ms/w365 roadmap. So right now I would like to share a little bit about our roadmap. So what has been shipped recently, and what is in store to what do we have in store to ship like in the next couple of months or so to you. I already shared a little bit, but let's jump right in and show some of the specifics. So 2 months ago, we shipped a new web client, meaning that if you go to windows365.microsoft.com, you will have a new experience when you click on connect to inside the Cloud PC that is way faster, way more capabilities to do redirection of like clipboards and audio and the microphone and all those kind of capabilities, and you can change them afterwards now as well. You have more like branding experiences across like the web portal and inside the Cloud PC in that web portal experience that belongs to Windows 365. You have more accessibility improvements, so you can change the keyboard layout and such all directly in there too. And you can bookmark Cloud PC. So if you have more Cloud PCs and you have one favorite for that specific week, you can bookmark that right now as well in the web portal experience. As I said earlier, native Azure AD Join, meaning that you can go full cloud with Azure AD, no need for a domain controller, Azure subscription, or VNet. You can all do that right now already inside the Windows 365 enterprise product, and business already had that from the beginning. So all great to meet the customer where the customer wants to be today or tomorrow. So we offer hybrid as well as Azure AD Join to just make sure that we have all the options in place for you. Localized experience is available right now in the provisioning policy, meaning that if you go through the provisioning policy process, you can now select the language and region of your cloud PC. So previously in legacy or traditional VDI environments, you had to open up an image and create your own language pack image and then snapshot or sysprep it and things like that. It was very difficult. And right now it's just a flip of a switch and then it finishes provisioning and then you're good to go. So very streamlined experience to do multi-language support inside the Windows 365 environment. And for business, we will ship that same feature pretty soon too. Windows 11 is fully supported, so VTPM, secure boot capabilities, UEFI, all those new hardware for requirements are supported in Windows 365. What does that mean? Even if your endpoint is not supported for Windows 11, you can connect to Windows 11 as part of a cloud PC. So if you have a scenario that your endpoint is not ready for Windows 11 and you still want to test it, then Windows 365 can be used for that. We have Windows 11 images with Windows 365 specific applications like Microsoft 365 apps baked into the image, and we have as well security baselines to make security as easy as it is for the configuration of cloud PCs. And on the management side, we have new features coming up like e-discovery. So you can do forensic investigations within your cloud PC or basically outside, and then capture all the data and hand it over to the forensics team. That's coming, all kinds of security improvements coming like disk encryption on top of the existing encryption. And we are investigating BitLocker support as well right now. New IT admin capabilities, as I said earlier, for business. So you can change the rights from user to local admin or the other way around, which operating system is being used. Or you can choose as well, other kind of options. But the other importantness here is that you can change for the business product the operating system as well as the rights all straight from the get-go. So you have more customizations there than a default operating system like Windows 10 or Windows 11 had. So the most important thing is, of course, hey, what's coming next, right? And if you have any feedback specifically on roadmap, you can go to aka.ms/Windows or W365 roadmap, and you can provide your own feedback to us as well over there. But one thing is, what is very important is that we are not stopping with features, designing and creating new features when you give feedback to us. We are ahead of the curve. We try to stay like 5, maybe perhaps 10 years ahead of the curve. And we did it with all kinds of features we announced last week, which I'm gonna share in just a bit. But before I do that, I would like to share that we are working on US Gov Cloud support. So that's coming like pretty soon as a preview and then eventually as well GA, meaning that you can spin up Windows 365 with the same benefits in the government cloud as well. And with nested virtualization support, we shipped that last week. You can run more developer tools inside the cloud PC, specifically the 8-core license, and we are working on getting it into the 4-core license. So what does that mean? You can run Hyper-V or WSL or Android inside your cloud PC to spin up like VMs inside a cloud PC for specific developer kind of scenarios. And then just go back and forth. Same with Sandbox, works as well out of the box. And we have a new feature in Windows 365 where you can restore cloud PCs, meaning that if you are a developer and you did something in your cloud PC and you have to go back 2 days, we support that with 7 days of retention out of the box without extra licenses that are being charged to you. So all kinds of flexibility. So great news for developer scenarios, and more news on developer scenarios will come soon as well. So experience and profiles. Reset the cloud PC will be coming to enterprise, is already supported in business. And then the 4 new announced features are listed in the experience bucket, which I'm very excited about because I've been part of that journey as part of our product. And that is Windows 365 app, switch, boot, and offline. And with app, we bring a Windows app, a native app for Windows 365 to connect to as part of Windows 10 and Windows 11 to our customers, meaning it is a replacement for the remote desktop app for Windows 365. The app is not going away. It's not going away for Azure Virtual Desktop. with that identical experience for an end user, with that like card with those specifics that you know from the web portal, and as well the experience inside the cloud PC. Switch will make it possible to switch between your local and your cloud PC directly from the Windows shell, from the task view integration. So if you want to learn and see more about those demos, you can go to the Microsoft Mechanics video of Scott Manchester that he published last week, or to Windows in the Cloud. And we have an episode coming up in just a bit as well with Steve Dispenza that shows exactly those demos. The same for boot, where you can boot directly into a cloud PC from a local endpoint running Windows 11. And Windows 365 offline, which is offline mode of a cloud PC, meaning you can run a local version of a cloud PC on a local PC. And if you don't have a connection in your cloud PC environment, it synchronizes back and forth, so you don't lose any state of that cloud PC. So very exciting. So if you want to learn more about those features, please go to either Mechanics or Windows in the Cloud, and then the Steve Dispenza episode number 8 as part of the episode that has been released today. So monitoring and reporting, meaning that endpoint analytics gets more alerting features. You can alert based on metrics, like for example, your CPU is spiking, and you can send straight automatically an email or an SMS to an IT admin to make him aware of, hey, there are performance-related issues in your environment. That's coming as well, and that's baked into the existing Windows 365 Enterprise license. Same for connectivity health checks. So if you have a connection area in your environment, so for example, your endpoint cannot connect to the service, the brokering services that we leverage from AVD, it gives you a warning or an error saying, hey, something's going on with your network, please check or do this or that. You can even chain automated kind of actions to it to remediate from that error. So on the management side, I already said, and point-in-time restore is already shipped. So that's already in a public preview right now. And you can find that inside the Windows 365 products, that you can restore back and forth, or back, not forward. Of course, you cannot go into the future, to a previous snapshot state of your cloud PC. So very flexible, e-discovery for forensic analysis, disk encryption, and different resize enhancements, meaning that you can resize today to a higher license instantly. So there's a reboot happening, but no data loss, and then you have like 8 cores instead of 4 cores. That's already baked into the Microsoft Endpoint Manager console. But one thing we didn't ship, and what will become available soon, is that you can go down and change in the operating system disk size too. So that's coming soon. So I'm very excited to share those features with you. And there are more, but those are for the next round, because we cannot share everything with customers yet. So if you're interested in providing feedback, please go to ak.ms/windows or W365 roadmap and provide your feedback there, because we are always eager to learn what you want to see. And the same thing for features that belong to Tenzig and Windows 365, if you want to see them consolidated, or some better together kind of features that you know from Tenzig or the other way around, let us know, and I'm happy to hand those over to our team to investigate them more. So with that, Jason, I think you're ready to go, so you can take it over for me.
Thanks very much, Christian. Can you hand it over to me, please?
Yes, I can. Yes, that should be fine right now.
Super, thank you very much. See my presentation again?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yes,
okay,
we're good to go.
Yeah, we need to, I just need to keep an eye on the time. So we've got 2 videos to start with as part of the demonstration, and we might need to skip the last one depending on time, okay? So for the demonstration, we have a specially pre-recorded 3-part demo that will focus on the following areas. We might not get to part 3, obviously. In part 1, I'll be showing you how to set up and subscribe to a Windows 365 Cloud PC, and how to assign a specific user to the virtual machine inside the AAD. And part 2 will show you how to set up Teams optimization inside the Cloud PC, and then demonstrate 2 calls that show redirection of audio and video to your endpoints once optimization is enabled. And to round off the session, we'll give you an introduction to Microsoft Endpoint Manager if we've got time, and how you can use it to create groups and roll your Tenzig Windows 10 endpoints into MEM and manage them with a configuration profile to create single secure kiosk for your end users. Okay, so this is the first of the videos, like we said, focuses on how to set up and subscribe to a Windows 365 Cloud PC and how to assign a specific user to the virtual machine inside the AAD. So we'll just queue this up. Just give you acknowledgement that it's playing, please.
Yes, Jason, we're good to go.
Hi, I'm Jason Hudson from Tenzig Technology, and today we're going to be subscribing to and setting
Can you
up
hear
the
the video?
Windows 365 Cloud PC in the Microsoft Azure
Yes,
cloud.
Jason, we're good to go.
Brilliant.
There
Cool,
are two
thank you.
versions of Cloud PC, Enterprise and Business. Enterprise Cloud PCs are designed for organizations who have invested into Microsoft Endpoint Manager and are using this powerful platform to manage their existing physical Windows 10 desktops. Enterprise Cloud PCs require an Intune license for each user who is assigned a Cloud PC M365 SKU. Business Cloud PCs, on the other hand, are designed for individual users and very small businesses who typically go to their local Best Buy when they need a new PC. Now, instead of visiting Best Buy, they can go to Microsoft and subscribe to a new Cloud PC and have it ready to use in an hour. Business Cloud PCs do not require an Intune license and are managed entirely by the user, similar to a standalone physical PC. Once we've set up our Cloud PC, we'll demonstrate connections to it from my local PC via the browser and from one of Tenzig's most popular platforms, the Windows IoT-based 6010Q. The Tenzig 6000Q series is a flexible, powerful quad-core dual 4K display workhorse and can be seen on the Tenzig website for more information. To start with, I'm going to take you through the steps required to purchase a subscription to a Business Cloud PC. To do this, inside my browser, I'm going to navigate to www.microsoft.com/enus/windows365/business/configure. This is where you'll be presented with a configuration screen that enables you to choose the number of vCPUs, RAM, and storage that will be allocated to your Cloud PC. The default options are quite basic, but by making a simple selection change such as upgrading to 2 vCPUs, we now have the desktop versions of Office apps, Outlook and OneDrive, and also Teams is available to us. But we need to upgrade to 8 GB of RAM to be able to take advantage of Teams with video and not just chat and audio calls. By choosing 8 GB of RAM, notice that our base storage option is now 128 GB by default. If you're only planning on using your Cloud PC from a Windows 10 Pro licensed device, then you can select the Windows Hybrid Benefit option. And this will give you an additional 16% discount for that particular Cloud PC per month. Because we're accessing our Cloud PC on a variety of different devices, from Linux to Windows 10 IoT, we can't guarantee we'll be running our client primarily on Windows 10 Pro. So we'll answer no to this question. So just to check what we've selected, 2 vCPUs, 8 GB of RAM, 128 GB of storage, and we get access to desktop apps and Teams, not limited to just audio and chat. Now that we're happy with this config, we click Buy Now in the summary on the right and wait for the Get Started screen to appear. Because I already have an account in the Azure AD, once I key in my email address, click Continue, sign in, and then physically sign in, I'll be taken to the 365 Admin Center to check out my Cloud PC purchase. If you don't have an Azure account, then you'll be asked to fill in the registration form before you complete your purchase of Cloud PC. We'll just complete the sign-in process and go to checkout. Now that we're in the 365 Admin Center, We click Place Order and wait until we see the You're All Set message to appear. Now we're ready to assign a user to our newly created Cloud PC. Now, we're going to find our newly licensed Windows 365 Cloud PC in the Azure AD, and then assign this license to my Tenzig user, Jason H. If we navigate to admin.microsoft.com, click Billing, and then Licenses in the left menu, we can see our Windows 365 Business Cloud PC listed, and the configuration details we specified in our purchase order earlier on. If we click this license, then we're taken into the assignment screen where I can choose to select my user and assign it to the Cloud PC. Click Assign Licenses, and then start typing the username you want to assign. When you have the correct user, select it from the list and click Assign. A few moments later, I receive a notification showing that Jason Hudson now has a license for Windows 365 Business. In the next section, I'll show you where to find your Windows 365 Cloud PC, and we'll connect in via a local HTML5 browser session, just to make sure we're up and running. Now that we've subscribed to our desired Windows 365 Business Cloud PC and assigned it successfully to our end user, we'll show you how to get access to the virtual machine via your browser, to control it and then demonstrate a local browser connection to the desktop. Once we've done this, we'll move on to the main Tenzig 6010Q Thin Client connection demonstration. Inside the browser, navigate to windows365.microsoft.com, select your account and sign in. Once inside the Windows 365 portal, you'll find your Cloud PC that was assigned to your specific user earlier. Notice that you have some control over the behavior of the Azure VM, such as the ability to restart, reset and rename the VM, and also troubleshoot any issues that may occur during its runtime. We're going to connect to this VM just to make sure that it starts as expected and we have all the correct apps installed locally as per our subscription. We click Open in Browser, key in my password and click Submit. Once the desktop is loaded, if we navigate to the Start menu, we can see all our Office apps are available locally to the VM, which is good. And if we launch Teams, then this also appears to be running successfully. We'll disconnect from this session and move on to the main Tenzig 6010Q Thin Client connection demonstration. Now we're going to demonstrate a connection into our Windows 365 Cloud PC via a remote desktop client running on the Tenzig 6010Q. Just to make things a little more interesting, I've created a secure desktop session for this part of the demonstration by using the Windows 10 IoT Shell Launcher version 2. This enables me to create an environment inside the shell that only runs a single application at login and nothing more. This can be done via Microsoft Endpoint Manager using a configuration profile, and also via the Tenzig UWF wizard that comes as part of the standard Tenzig Windows client build. We'll include some links on how to set up a custom shell in the video description so you can see how simple it is to create this secure environment for your own client endpoints. After the Kiosk user has logged in successfully, we're presented with a single remote desktop application that allows me to subscribe to the Tenzig Azure resources assigned to my user account. We need to click Subscribe with URL and then key in the discovery feed URL named rdweb.wvd.microsoft.com/API/ARM/feed discovery. Alternatively, you can click subscribe and then key in your Azure user account to gain access to your resources. Once keyed in, I'm notified that workspaces have been found, so I click Next and select my user account. A few seconds later, I can see my Cloud PC Business VM listed as one of the resources available to my user. If I double click on this, key in my password and click OK, and just wait a few seconds, my remote Windows 365 desktop appears and loads up really quickly. If we just take a quick look around, we can see that it performs as we'd expect it to. So we'll navigate to the Start menu and just disconnect back to our workspace resource area. This concludes today's demonstration on subscribing to and setting up a Windows 365 Cloud PC in the Microsoft Azure cloud. I hope you enjoyed the session, and remember, if you have any questions regarding this or related topics, then please contact your Tenzig team or visit the website at www.tenzig.com.
Are we back? You got
Yes,
me?
you sure are. Yep.
Super, super. Okay, so in this next video, I'm going to show you how to set Teams optimization inside the Cloud PC and demonstrate two calls to show audio and video redirection. So we'll just get that loaded up now. And then if we have enough time, we'll start the third one. Just start the third video. If we've
Sounds good.
Yeah, and see where we go. See where we go.
We'll see what happens.
In this section, we'll show you how to set up Microsoft Teams to run in optimized mode, where the audio and video are being redirected to the client endpoint instead of through the VDI. We'll make a Teams call running in standard non-optimized mode, then we'll optimize Teams inside the virtual Cloud PC and demonstrate a second call. During both calls, we'll take a look at what's happening on both the Tenzig 6010Q endpoint and the Cloud PC with regards to performance. We'll have a look at performance inside the Task Manager and explain where the video and audio are being redirected. Let's sign back into my Windows 365 Cloud PC as a test user, and I'll demonstrate a Teams call running in standard non-optimized mode, and take a look at what's happening to the performance at both ends of the connection. First, we'll load Microsoft Teams so we can see that optimization is switched off before we make the call. Click on the three dots next to your profile icon, select About, and Version. Note, there is no mention of optimization being used at the moment, but I'll show you how to switch it on a bit later. Let's start a non-optimized Teams call on the Cloud PC and take a look at some performance and quality statistics on both the Cloud PC and the Tenzig 6010Q. If I open the Task Manager on the Cloud PC, you'll notice that the CPU is consuming between 40% and 70% of the total CPU. And the bandwidth being consumed is between 1 and 2 megabits per second, indicating that the audio and video are being passed over the network through to the VDI. Let's minimize the AVD session and open up Task Manager on my physical 6010Q. Notice that the CPU usage on the Tenzig device is using on average between 10 and 20% of the overall total CPU threads available. This isn't the actual total of all CPU available, but across all 4 cores, so averaging between 3 and 5% of each core, which is extremely low. Let's close the task managers on both Cloud PC and Tenzig device and end the Teams call. Now, I'll show you how to enable optimization, and we'll demonstrate the differences in performance again. This time with the audio and video being redirected to and processed on the Tenzig 6010Q. To enable optimization, we need to open up the registry editor. So inside the search box in the Start menu, if I type in regedit, press enter, and answer yes to the Allow Changes question, I'm presented with the editor console. I need to navigate to the registry key, HKey Local Machine, Software, Microsoft, Teams. Inside this key, you'll see a value named isWVD environment. Notice that its data is set to 0, which makes sense, as it basically means that optimization is switched off. I'm going to double click into it and then change this value to 1 and click OK to save my changes. Just make sure that the value data now reads 1, and if so, just close the registry editor. Now, we also need to make sure that we have the remote desktop WebRTC redirector service installed and running on the Cloud PC to take advantage of Teams optimization inside the AVD. If I type in appwiz.cpl in the search box and press enter, then you should see the remote desktop WebRTC redirector service installed and the version number on the right. My Cloud PC is running the latest 2011 release, but if you don't see it installed here or need to update to the latest version, which is recommended by Microsoft by the way, then head over to the URL listed on the screen. Just scroll down and you should find the link to download the installer there. Before we start the next call, we need to quit Teams from the hidden icons section in the taskbar. You need to do this because Teams has to reload the registry entries in order to enable optimization. Now we've done that, let's open Teams again and check that we're running optimized. Go back and click the 3 dots again, select About and Version. Notice that we now have the AVD Media Optimized note in the version tray, so we know we're going to be redirecting our audio and video directly to the Tenzig 6010Q. Let's start the second call and take a look at some performance and quality statistics, now that we're running in optimized mode. Inside the Task Manager on the Cloud PC again, you'll notice that the CPU is consuming between 5 and 10% of the total CPU, and the bandwidth being consumed is no greater than around 400 kilobits per second, which is now almost 3 to 5 times less than before. Let's minimize the AVD session and open up Task Manager on my physical 6010Q again. Notice that the CPU usage on the Tenzig device is using between 60 and 80% of the overall total CPU threads available. This isn't the actual total of all CPU available, but across all 4 cores, so averaging between 15 to 20% of each core, and shows that this device is more than capable of handling any of these call scenarios. Let's close the task managers on both Cloud PC and Tenzig device and hang up the Teams call again. This concludes today's demonstration, where we showed you how to set up Microsoft Teams to run in optimized mode on a Windows 365 Cloud PC, where the audio and video is being redirected to the client endpoint instead of through the VDI. I hope you enjoyed the session, and remember, if you have any questions regarding this or related topics, then please contact your Tenzig team or visit the website at www.tenzig.com.
Hello, are we back?
Hi, Jason. It's Michelle.
All right.
Excellent second video.
Thank you very much indeed. Hope that was useful for everyone. You enjoyed it. So what we're
Yeah.
going to do is, 'cause we know we're short on time for the end of the hour, but what we're going to do, because I think this final video about Microsoft Endpoint Manager is really useful, and there's a lot of good there's a lot of good information in there and really useful. So we're going to play it anyway, and
Yes.
we're just going to run over a little. Okay, so just if you can stick with us, it'll be about another 25 minutes if you can stay with us. Okay, so we'd appreciate it.
Sounds
So,
good,
Michelle.
Jason. I was just going to mention that, Christiaan, thank you so much for joining us. If for some reason you have to go ahead and take off, we understand. We'll follow up with you, and it really enjoyed your content. And to everybody that's listening and still participating, which is almost every single one of you that has come on since the beginning, please don't worry. I will personally be following up with an email with the recording, with all the links to the videos, who won the $200 Amazon gift card, any questions you might have had, and a link to our free demo in an email that'll probably go out, I want to say, sometime next week. So no worries there. I agree with you, Jason. Let's run over it because it's really good stuff.
Yeah. Okay, super. Okay, like I say, it's only another 25 minutes and it's well worth seeing.
Perfect.
So in this final video, we're going to show you how to create a user group with privileges to enroll devices, so endpoints. We're going to create a group that contains our device. We're going to set auto enrollment of devices as they join the AAD. We're going to actually enroll our endpoint. And then we're going to create a configuration profile that's going to set the device to run in kiosk mode. Now, this video focuses on using Tenzig's Windows 10 6010Q for all device activities. But apart from the user group and enrollment elements, all other actions mentioned in this next video are applicable to Cloud PC as well, just as a standard Windows 10 device. Now, let's cue that video.
In your web browser address bar, if you navigate to endpoint.microsoft.com, you'll be prompted to log in to the Azure AD with your own company credentials. Once logged in, you'll be taken to the Endpoint Manager homepage where you can access all the services that allow you to manage your Tenzig Windows 10 thin clients. If you click on All Services in the left-hand menu, and then Devices, All Devices, you'll be able to see any endpoints already being managed in your Azure Active Directory. We can see that there is already one Windows device enrolled with a prefix name Desktop. If you click on the device in the list, you will see more relative information. Notice on this screen you can perform specific client-side tasks such as delete, wipe, and even remotely restart the unit. Before we enroll our Windows thin client, we are going to set up a couple of very useful groups in the Azure AD. The first one is going to be called Tenzig Users Device Enrollment, and the second one is going to be Tenzig Devices. The Tenzig Users Device Enrollment group will contain any of our Azure AD users that have the privilege to enroll devices at the client end. We don't want everyone to be able to enroll devices without our consent, and we can use this group later when we need to be selective about our enrollment process. The second group, Tenzig Devices, is where our device will belong once we enroll it successfully. I will show you how to be selective about which devices can join this group during the actual group creation process. To create the user enrollment group, select All Services, Groups, and click the New Group link. You'll now see the group creation page that will enable you to set up your first AD user group to enroll devices in. Select the group type to be security, as this is going to give our Azure users the privilege to enroll devices. Type in Tenzig Users Device Enrollment as the group name and give it a meaningful description below. Set the membership type to be assigned because we want to add users manually in this example. Now click the No Owners Selected link and add your own user as the owner of the group. Do this by searching for your user, highlight it in the results, and click Select. Next, click No Members Selected and add your own user again. This time as a member that will be able to enroll thin clients later. Just as before, search for your user, highlight, and click Select. Once you've completed filling in this form, then simply click Create and you will see a notification message displayed showing the creation was successful. To create the device group for our endpoints, select All Services, Groups, and click the New Group link as we did before. Select the group type to be security again, and type in Tenzig Devices as the group name, and give it a meaningful description as we did before. We need to set this membership type to be Dynamic Device, because we don't want to manually add devices each time they enroll. Imagine how much extra effort this would take if your device estate was in the thousands. Now, click the No Owners Selected link and add your own user as the owner of the group. Do this by searching for your user, highlight it in the results, and click Select. Clicking Add Dynamic Query will give you the ability to create expression statements that will determine which devices can belong to the group. We are going to use the display name or computer name on our thin client to query our endpoints that we wish to group in here. Under the Property section, we select Display Name, select the operator to be Starts With, as we want to include devices in this group that start with a particular computer name, and then type in desktop-L0C in the value column. This expression will now only include enrolled devices in this group where the local computer name starts with the words desktop-L0C. Once you're happy with this evaluation statement, then click Add Expression and you will see the expression appear in the rule syntax box below. Notice that if you want to be more specific in the rule set, you have the ability to add more. Click Save to return to the new group form and click Create. Remember to look out for the notification message displayed showing the creation was successful. Before we move on, we'd like to point out that the complementary Enterprise Tenzig Manager also has the capability to create bespoke custom groups for our devices. Inside Tenzig Manager, if you right-click on the Thin Clients group and select New and Group, you can create a subgroup called Tenzig Devices. Give it a meaningful name tick Filter by Computer Name and click OK. Click Edit Computer Name List, Add, and then type in Desktop ? The last two digits are wildcards and will group devices that match desktop followed by any other set of characters. Click OK twice and then right-click your group name and select Repopulate. Click OK and you'll see your thin client that starts with desktop appear in the client list on the right. We're almost ready to enroll our very first device into Endpoint Manager. We need to do one last thing, and that's configure the environment so that every time a device is joined to the Active Directory, they are automatically enrolled in Endpoint Manager. Inside the portal menu, select All Services, Devices, and click Enroll Devices. In the General section, click on the Automatic Enrollment link and you'll be taken to the Configure screen. This is where we tell Endpoint Manager which user group will allow automatic MDM enrollment when the device is joined to the AD. We're going to let Endpoint Manager know that if any user in 10zig users device enrollment joins a 10zig Windows Thin client to Azure AD, then we want to enroll them automatically into the MDM environment. In the field named MDM User Scope, click Some and then the No Group Selected link, and you will see a Select Groups window open to the right. In the search box at the top right of the screen, start typing the user group name 10zig Users Device Enrollment. Once it appears below, highlight it and then click the Select button. Notice that the Groups field on screen should now show one group selected as highlighted in blue. Click Save and wait for the success notification message. Now we're ready to physically join the 10zig Windows 10 Thin client to the Azure Active Directory and watch it automatically enroll in Endpoint Manager. On your 10zig Windows 10 Thin client, click the Start menu icon, Run, and then type in ms-settings:workplace and click OK. Then you'll see the Access Work or School page displayed. Click the plus Connect button and you'll see the Set up a Work or Education account screen. In the Alternative Actions section at the bottom left, click on the Join this device to Azure Active Directory link. On the Let's Get You Signed In page, key in your personal Azure username, click Next, key in your password for the account and click Sign In. The next screen will ask you to confirm your organisation. We're happy with this, so click Join and wait until you see the You're All Ready message and then click Done. Now you can see the device is joined to the 10zig Technology Azure AD. Now that we have joined the Thin client to the Azure AD, if we wait a couple of minutes and go into the portal menu, select All Services, Devices, and click All Devices link, we can see the 10zig Windows Thin client listed with a recent check-in time. If we click on the device, we can drill down further to get more specific information about the unit, such as its serial number, device model, and OS. Congratulations, you have successfully enrolled your 10zig Windows 10 Thin client into Microsoft's Endpoint Manager. In this section, we show you how to create a custom Windows Kiosk shell using a configuration profile that leverages Microsoft's Shell Launcher version 2 on the remote 10zig Thin client. We can also set the configuration profile to auto log on each time the device restarts. You may be familiar with the 10zig UWF wizard that comes as part of the standard 10zig Windows client build. This can also create a custom shell for you to run single Win32 or UWP apps and give your users a securely managed desktop experience. We are going to create a configuration profile that will target a CSP or configuration service provider on the Windows 10 Thin client. Select All Services, Devices, and under the heading Policy, click Configuration Profiles. Click Create Profile. Select Windows 10 or later from the platform drop-down list and select Templates as the profile type. Beneath the template name, click Custom and Create. In the Custom Profile Section 1, use a meaningful name. I'm going to call this Tenzig Kiosk AVD and give it a meaningful description. Click Next to move on to the next section. Inside the Configuration Settings tab, we are going to target the assigned access CSP on the Windows client and pass it an XML string. This will set up the user Kiosk User 0 and set its single shell application, and also set it to auto log in after a restart. Click Add and the right side form will appear. We add in the name Assigned Access Launcher 2 . Give it a description and use the specific OMA URI so that the thin client knows which specific setting we are aiming for. This CSP is going to be /device/vendor MSFT assigned access shell launcher. Click the data type drop down and select string XML file. We are going to locate the XML file that contains a string to configure the custom shell on the thin client. In the Custom XML section, click the Open File dialog, browse to the location of your XML file. Mine's in c:/temp and called shell launcher autologonavd.xml. Select this file and click Open. The contents of the XML file will appear in the Custom XML field on the form. At the bottom of the Add Row screen, click Save and you'll see your OMA URI listed on screen. Click Next to move on. On the Assignments section of the configuration profile, we click Add Groups and then select Groups to Include. We type in the name Tenzig Devices and then highlight the item in search results and click Select. Click Next and Next because we know what devices we want to target, and then click Create. Make sure you know exactly which devices you intend to target here, as any in this group will put the thin client in Kiosk single application mode. Always test any config changes on a sample of lab devices to be safe. Now we will force the thin client to sync with Endpoint Manager to get its changes immediately. So we go to All Services, Devices, and All Devices. Click on our device, then click Sync in the top menu and say yes to the sync question. If we go back and click Refresh, then we see the client has recently checked in. Remember, this may take a couple of minutes, so be patient. Once we see that the client has checked in, we can reboot the Tenzig device and see what happens. Once the client has rebooted, notice that it automatically logs in as Kiosk user, and if we wait a little longer, it launches the single application MSRDCW that gives us access to our WVD AVD environment. I hope you enjoyed the session, and remember, if you have any questions regarding this or related topics, then please contact your Tenzig team or visit the website at www.tenzig.com.
Hello,
Hi, Jason.
we're back.
Wow, that was a lot of good content.
Yeah.
Right?
You
Both
enjoy
from
it?
is excellent. We have actually
Fabulous.
15 minutes over. So if anybody wants to reach out with last minute questions, I'm collecting them right now. We're going to be following up next week with detailed answers. If there's anything that was directed specifically to Christiaan, we will speak to him as well. He had to hop off at the end of the hour. Thank you so much, Jason. And we will have all of these videos posted eventually, probably more towards next week, on the YouTube channel for Tenzig, as well as our video gallery, which is on tenzig.com. The free demo is there as well. In addition to that, we'll actually have the full recording, right, Jason, of the whole
Yeah,
webcast
sure, of course.
eventually, and we'll send everything off in an email to everybody, including who won the gift card, and we'll also do emailing specifically to those folks that ask questions. Gosh, it's a great presentation, and we hope you learned something. We hope you enjoyed it. We hope you check tenzig.com for upcoming events and more webcasts. Jason, is there anything else you'd like to say before we close out? Yeah.
Yes. I hope that gave you an understanding of how you can manage both your Tenzig Windows devices and the cloud PC using Endpoint Manager as well. I just want to say thanks very much for joining us today. We really appreciate it. And once again, thanks to Christiaan. I know he's had to hop off early, but thanks to him and Microsoft and Tenzig's very own Michelle Pelusi for hosting the event. Thank you very much indeed.
Yes.
And I just also want to thank Tenzig's EMEA marketing manager, Tom Dodds, for promoting the event and making this collaboration between Tenzig, Christiaan, and Microsoft possible. And that's it from me.
Great.
Thank you very much.
All right. Everybody have a great day, and thank you for joining us.
Thanks very much. Bye.
Bye.